What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome to the 53rd time I've tried to record this video, and that is absolutely no exaggeration. I have 100% tried 53 times. If you're coming over from the main channel, thank you very much. If you're brand new, then let me give you a little bit of a backstory while you hit the subscribe button. Done it yet? Awesome. I run a FIFA YouTube channel with 12 subscribers. We are rather unsuccessful over there. We hate the game, but we play it anyway, and that's pretty much where we are with that. I love football, but for some reason, you can't talk about football to FIFA players or fans because they hate you for having an opinion. So I thought, what better place to come than a second channel to talk about football? We're not talking about FIFA, we're not talking about Ultimate Team, we're not talking about Football Manager, kind of. We're talking about real-world football. We're talking about a world where Divock Origi is playing for a top 2 team. We're going to talk about Football Index a lot on this channel as well. If you don't know what it is, I've linked a lot of information down below. You can go click, watch some videos, listen to some podcasts, generally find out about probably the greatest thing I've ever discovered. I'm not saying I discovered it. What I'm saying is I discovered it. No, that doesn't sound right. But you know what I mean. So let me give you a little bit of a background to my Football Index journey so far, how I discovered it and stuff. Like I said, if you don't know what it is, you're probably better off pausing this. Don't click off it, please. Pause it. Go to the description. Find out about it. If you're interested, come back and listen. If you're not interested, what's wrong with you, right? Anyway, so let's talk about Football Index. So I first heard about it, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago. I saw an image, and I've heard about it in passing before, but I'd never really given it any thought or attention or didn't ask any questions. Saw the image. Saw that Neymar was like 12, 13 quid and he'd gone up by 2 pence and this guy was really happy and thought that was stupid, not interested. Ta-ra, you know? I didn't really care because it just, to me, I'd already painted a picture in my head of what it was. You could buy players, right? And they would go up every now and again by a couple of pence. And then you could sell that player and cash in your couple of pence profit. That's honestly what I thought it was. And I thought that is a fad that will last about 5 minutes. For some reason, and I don't know how it came about, last month I saw an image again, but for some reason I wanted to click it. And I read a little bit more about it, and I saw someone's, I don't know how I found out about it. I wish I'd remembered. Would have made for a great story. But either way, I started going onto YouTube. I typed in Football Index. I was reading a lot about it. I found a podcast. It was the Figs podcast. And I started listening to those because they were interesting. He was interviewing people based on, you know, their first ever experience and tips and tricks that you can, blah, blah, this, that, the other. And I got really into it. And I am really into it. But I got really into it and I signed up. Didn't use a sign-up bonus because I'm an idiot because I didn't know they existed. But guess what? They do. It's one along the screen at the bottom. Actually, if you use the code 382253 and click the link in the description when you sign up, you get a free £10 when you deposit your first £10. Genius. And I also get £10, which is just phenomenal. For one £10 deposit, Football Index give out 20 quid, which is incredible. Either way, that aside, 18 plus, gamble responsibly and all that good stuff. I just thought this is a bit of me because I found out that there are loads of ways to earn money on the index. You know, based on player performance, how they perform in the media, in-play dividends as well, and capital appreciation. So players going up in price based on demand for various reasons again. Like I said, though, at the very beginning, I'm not going to sit here and try and explain all the rules to you, why this happens, why that happens. In passing, if I feel like something warrants an explanation, yes, I will give you one. And, you know, I might mention something here or there, or this is why this has happened, that's why that's happened. But ultimately, you'll need to click the links in the description to find out more about the platform, because they'll be able to explain it far better than I can. Anyway, with that put to one side, I signed up, I put 10 quid in, and I was listening to a few things here or there. Let me go to the... I want to just... Where is he? I want to just put Robert Lewandowski on my watch list for a minute. We'll come back to that. So this is my portfolio. I own 269 shares across far too many players, right? You don't need to tell me that my portfolio is a mess and needs cleaning up. I know it, right? I'm a new player to this. I'm not here to give you tips and tricks. I'm not here to explain how it works. Like I said, I'm just here to show you what I've done so far and what I've learned so far. If you know more than I do, help me out. Put some comments down below. Give me something to read. Maybe link me something that I may not have listened to or seen that will help me. Any video by the Fig, there's no point linking me. I basically watched everything on his channel. The Irish dude's podcast, the what does he call it? High, Wide and Handsome podcast. I listened to that on whatever website I listened to that on. So I mean I'm sort of fingers in pies with regards to podcasts and stuff. But ultimately, I bought Berisha because he just signed with, I think it's Atalanta or something. Listened to someone say that it would be a potentially a good purchase, and without even thinking about it, it's when I bought 7 of them. So random. Regretted doing that almost instantly, because what the hell is the point in that? Been trying to sell him for nearly a month. I'm going to just sell him off insta-sell soon. Just thought I'd try my luck and see how long it would take to sell him, but obviously it's not happening. Since then, I've gone in and I've made some mistakes here or there. I bought Aubameyang very early on. I put more money, and I bought 20 quid's worth of Aubameyang, which at the time was very, very bad because he actually went down in price to about 154. So he was actually down by 12 pence. I'd lost a fair bit of money on him. And then all of a sudden, the new season's creeping up, and Pepe signs for Arsenal, bolstering Arsenal's attack. That sent him up a little bit more, and then he had a good opening game, scored a goal, shot up in price, and now we can sell him for a £4.44 profit. Will I sell Aubameyang? Maybe. It depends how he does on the weekend, and maybe the weekend after. Yusuf Poulsen, I used FIFA knowledge for that because he had a good year last year on FIFA, so I just bought him. Turns out I'm good at this game because he went from 92 pence to £1.12. We've made £2 profit, which is brilliant. Suso has gone up again, FIFA knowledge. I think that's still a very good price for Suso, to be fair. Yusuf Poulsen, not so much, because we don't know how he's going to perform. We don't know if Timo Werner is going to get the nod ahead and whether he'll just be a sub, etc. Suso will be a starter for Milan. He always is. He's still only 25, I think. Bought him at 144 up to 160. Good price for him still. Like I said, I think he'll rise to £2 if he can continue to play like he did last year. So that's a good deal. I made a mistake on Coutinho and Messi. Coutinho, I got caught up in the... I got caught up in the whole like moving to Tottenham thing, and I'm just an idiot, Like, looking back, you're thinking, yeah, why did I do that? But hey, I bought 5 of him for £11.20, thinking that he would rise if he joined a Premier League club. He didn't, obviously. I've lost a fair bit. Hopefully, he can either make a move or at least come on as a sub today, and then maybe we can make something back. I don't know, but either way, Lionel Messi is another one. I bought 2. Why? What's the point? My first bit of advice, if for what it's worth, not that I'm the kind of guy that should be dishing out advice, but my first bit of advice for you would be to, if you can't buy 10 or more of a player, don't bother, because having 2 Lionel Messis in there is going to it's going to be pointless. It's not going to make me any money. Ultimately. Now, if you're the type of guy who can't afford to buy 10 Messis in one go, but all you want to do is fill your portfolio with Messi, then yeah, buy 2 now, buy 2 next week, buy 2 the week after. That's fair enough. I understand that. If you want to keep topping up, then that's fine. But I'm not going to do that with Messi. I was never going to buy more than 2, and for some reason I thought I'm only going to buy 2. I had just over £10 there, and I thought I want to own Messi because that's a great player to own without really thinking it through. So there's that. Jonathan Bamba's more FIFA knowledge. I've earned £8.75 on him, which is phenomenal. There's a few others in here that are good and bad. I'm fully aware of the bad ones. Don't worry about it. I will be cleaning up my portfolio very, very soon. I tend to refresh that all the time for no reason whatsoever. But that's kind of an introduction. I'm not going to go through the do's and don'ts necessarily unless we come across them and discover them while we're talking about other things. But today's video was all about, this is me, this is the index, this is where I'm at with it right now. It says portfolio 256. It also says the profit £16. So you would assume that I've put 240, and because I've got my balance of £10, I've put £250 into this. I haven't. I've deposited maybe 220, but I've had about 30 quid's worth of sign-up bonus, maybe even 40 quid, so it might only be 210. So I've not quite put as much as you think I have in, although for me, putting 200 quid into essentially a gambling platform is quite substantial, but I don't really... it is technically, but I don't see it as gambling. I see it as an investment. You've got to put your money where your knowledge is, in a sense. I love football. I used to write when I was a kid. I used to write up. I'd watch a game, Leeds playing QPR or something, on a Sunday afternoon, and after the game, I would go through my stickers because you'd collect Merlin stickers or Panini or whatever they were. I'd pick a Leeds player and I'd pick a QPR player. I'd stick them on the A4 piece of paper, and then I'd write an article underneath. I don't know why I was doing it, but I did it anyway. And sometimes I'd elaborate on the truth, but I generally write about the game I just watched. Even if those two players hadn't played or they didn't even play for the club anymore, in my mind I was writing a magazine or something. I don't know what I was doing it, but I used to put loads of stats in there. And I'd look at the stats after the game and I put it down. I've always been interested in stats. And fantasy football, okay, there's stats involved, but ultimately there's nothing to keep me hooked on it because I don't really care about bragging rights. I don't mind if I finish bottom of the league, it doesn't bother me. But this has money in it, and I love gambling, and it sort of melds the two things together, gambling and fantasy football and stats and everything. Final thing before I go, I watched a film called Moneyball with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. It's not a new film, but it's a great film, and it basically follows a baseball coach, I guess, and he's trying to build a team and he wants to challenge for titles and things. And he stumbles on this guy who's like an analyst, and he analyzes just data. He doesn't watch necessarily, he just looks at stats. And they build a team based on stats and stats alone. Players that other teams wouldn't really go near because they don't suit the play style or whatever. But if you look at the stats and you read into them, they are actually good players and they return good points, essentially. I've tried that in Football Manager and it works. I'm now applying it to the index, and the season hasn't really started yet properly, so I can't... there's a couple of players down here. Remy Walter is one of them. I've only got 5 of him so far, but I am going to top up. And then I've got Thiago Maia. Again, I've got 30 of him because I believe in him. He's not the youngest of players, but I do believe that he will return good dividends. João Moutinho is another player who is a very, very good return. He's old, so a lot of people don't want him. He's really cheap because he's old, but he plays every game, and he gets loads of assists. He puts loads of key passes in. There are loads of reasons why João Moutinho is a great buy, and he's only 48 pence. And again, down here, Meunier, he's only 76 pence. He hasn't gone up anything just yet. I think he did, but he came back down. But now that Ben Yedder's gone, they've got Dabor, who's not proven in a big league, and now Meunier is still a proven goal scorer, and that's why I've bought into him. Ibrahima Sissoko is again a youngster. Danso is a youngster. I've looked at stats, and I've bought players based on it, and I want to put my Moneyball knowledge to the test, essentially, and I'm going to back it with money, and hopefully we can make money out of it. Now, in tomorrow's video, I think what I'm going to do is have a look at tonight's game. So Friday night, Bayern are playing, Barca are playing. I think there might be... I don't think there is a Premier League game on, actually. Either way, tomorrow we'll look at that, see if we made any money through some in-play stuff, buying players as they score, selling them before they drop, and etc. And we're going to do the same then throughout the weekend. So Sunday we'll do Saturday, which is going to be a big day. Monday we'll do Sunday, which will be equally a big day. And then on Tuesday we'll look at fantasy football, show you my team, how we performed over the weekend, make some transfers. Wednesday we'll then look toward the new week of football. We're not too far away from internationals already, but internationals count on the index. You can only earn dividends through the top 5 leagues. internationals count. I think those are the main sort of talking points and the things you need to really know. And there's a lot of misinformation out there, but that's a big thing. And then on Thursday, I'm thinking of doing some sort of, not a podcast necessarily, but it's going to be like a long discussion. We'll do that on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we're back into it again. You know, with Friday evening, we'll look at the weekend ahead. Maybe I'll pick a couple of teams out who I think have got a good chance of winning. Maybe pick my one player that I'm looking at more than anything. So yeah, that is the plan. If you're interested and you like the sound of that and you want to see more, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, you're a legend. If you want to sign up to the index, obviously you need to be 18 plus. Read everything before you do sign up, but you use the link below and use the code, wait for it to come around, 382253. When you make your first deposit, you will get a £10 bonus. Happy days. I shall see you guys tomorrow, and until then, goodbye.